Father Malone, it's me and you. It's just the two of us. We're here at the end of the month.
And what a month it's been.
I think, me personally, this may have been, in terms of the quality of the movies, more or less consistent across the board in terms of quality. Even the things that we weren't the biggest fans of, we were still talking about it on every one of the episodes. So it must not have been that bad.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't not recommend any of these movies. I would recommend all of these movies.
I would almost recommend them in the chronological order that we watched them, just to see this progression.
I think putting them into chronological order is key if you don't have any basis in these films or their histories. If you watch Groove Tube, Kentucky Fried Movie, the next one, Mr. Mike's Mondo video. And then finally this, I think you can actually see the evolution of the filmed sketch comedy.
Michael O'Donoghue is rolling over his grave because you forgot his name and his thing.
Yeah.
Look at that. He's like, I knew it, they would forget me.
He's loading a napalm canister is what he's doing.
He's loading a nuke because that's what you do when you're him. You go full nuclear at every opportunity.
Yes.
On this episode of the Kulturecast, I am still your host, Chris Stachiw, much to the chagrin of many, and I'm joined by the man himself, Father Malone, all the way from the Weirding Way Media Network, host of such shows as Noise Junkies, Night Mr. Walters, and my personal favorite, Dark Destinations.
Oh, thank you very much. And let me just say, ooh, Lamaze.
Man, there's one of my favorite movies is After Hours, and boy, there's a lot of the after hours players here in this movie, because yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been following us on this sketch comedy journey this month through You've Never Seen September, you know that we are talking about, and you clicked on it, so you know what this is. Not like this is some sort of mystery. You know that we're going to be talking about 1987 sketch comedy film, though Wikipedia doesn't refer to it as such, which I find to be a little strange, but I maybe understand. I kind of understand why as a framing device thing, but like I think it might be a tenuous hair splitting at best. We're going to be talking about 1987's Amazon Women on the Moon.
Universal, the studio that brought you such classic motion pictures as All Quiet on the Western Front, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and Out of Africa, is proud to present
Amazon Women on the Moon.
Featuring Steve Guttenberg, Rosanna Arquette, Lou Jacoby.
Where am I? Pretty scary, huh?
Ed Begley Jr., B.B. King.
Did you know that every 7 minutes a black person is born in this country without soul?
Tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree.
Russ Meyer, Ralph Bellamy, Monique Gabrielle.
I bet I know what you want.
Griffin Dunn, Steve Forrest, Sybil Danning.
Oh, Steve, save yourself.
Henry Silva, Steve Allen, Kelly Preston, Carrie Fisher, and Arsenio Hall. Amazon Women on the Moon.
I've seen enough, Doctor.
I know you have, but have you? Amazon Women on the Moon.
The new film from directors Joe Dante, Carl Gottlieb, Peter Horton, John Landis, and Robert Weiss.
So the film is directed by not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 separate people, because it is a sketch comedy film made up of disparate parts put together. And those directors are Joe Dante, Carl Gottlieb, Peter Horton, John Landis, and Robert K. Weiss. And yes, the movie Amazon Women on the Moon is present in the film, but however, it is once again a sketch comedy film that goes in some interesting directions. It's like flipping through a TV, like all the other things we've been watching this month have attempted to do, with varying degrees of success. So I'm not going to name how many actors are in this movie. This movie stars a lot of actors, as the film likes to remind us in the opening. So, Father Malone, I'm going to kick it to you first. And lastly, for this month, why are we watching Amazon Women on the Moon? And did you see this film in theaters?
We're watching this because it is the natural end to the sketch comedy film cycle. There have been several since. They've all been garbage. I think these 4 are pretty much the best you're going to get of the bunch. And this one in particular, I adore. I probably have seen more than the other 3 combined. Yes, as a matter of fact, I saw this in theaters. I saw this at the Cineplex Odeon in downtown Boston at Copley, I think, and made my mother take me to see it because I saw the poster and read the director's list, which included both Joe Dante and John Landis. So my 14-year-old heart was all aflutter. So that's where I first saw it, and that's why we're watching.
So tell me what you thought rewatching it for this episode of the Kulturecast, though I know this is not the first time you've rewatched it. Maybe not even the first time this year.
No, I've seen it. When we decided that we decided this, I think, 6-9 months ago.
It was a year ago, more or less.
Yeah, it was a year ago. So it was when we finished last day. So as soon as I decided that we were going to do sketch comedy this year, I immediately watched it. And then, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, I just put it on just to put it on. And now I've watched it 2 more times to talk about it here tonight. I've seen it a lot, and I still like it. I still like it a lot. I think here it's the sheer quantity overrides any of the clunkers. And the ones that made me laugh when I was a kid are still making me laugh to this day. There are some great gems in here. All of Joe Dante's stuff is actually really hilarious. I wish he had done more of the segments, honestly. But overall, I like it a lot. We need to talk about. You had never seen the film before, correct?
Hey, that's
the
name of the YouTube series.
Yeah, sure. But
no, I had not ever seen.
Okay. I believe we watched the same copy.
We sure did, my furry little friend.
Oh, yes. And let's just say that was a fan edit of Amazon Women on the Moon. It took all of the deleted segments and put them back in. In what order? I'm not sure. I don't think that was the order that the filmmakers originally intended. In fact, I think right up until the film got released, they were jiggering around the order of the segments. In fact, one of Joe Dante's segments, they couldn't figure out a place to put it because everything else after it seemed less funny once they had seen it. So they ended up putting it sort of a mid-credit sequence so that nothing could have come before, or nothing could come after it. What we talk about? Oh, that fan edit. It's got, not only does it put back in deleted scenes, but it puts in truncated scenes, like bits from, like the Amazon Women on the Moon is a perfect example. It starts with a narrator, like turning to the camera, he's the head of the science agency, not in the theatrical cut. And there's lots of little bits in Amazon Women on the Moon that also weren't in the theatrical cut. So I will say that your first experience was a little long in the tooth for what actually has been seen for the past 30 years.
So I will say I realize that, obviously, but I wanted to watch the version made by the people who love this movie, because in my opinion, that's, director's intent is one thing, but also this is a completionist thing. And this is a completionist version of the movie. Everything that, even again, like they mentioned the alternate versions on Wikipedia. You can do any amount of research to see what those alternate scenes are. So yeah, it may have seemed a little long in the tooth. I didn't mind the length of the movie. I actually appreciated being able to see everything, as it were, because I think it helps it round it out. And I also think it helps round out the comedy inside of this, because there's a lot of different points of comedy and where they're going. This is the most diverse comedically of the things we've seen this month in terms of the direction things go. And so I actually didn't mind how long it was. It felt like it was really like a comprehensive idea made full, including having outtakes at the end. And I will tell you, the Unknown Soldier segment may be my favorite because it is a beyond fucked up joke. And they go all the way to the end with it, and Godspeed. I'm glad they did.
Wow. See, now I liked that one in theory, and I loved all of the actors on screen, including Wally Langham there from Chocolate War.
Yeah, boy, he's there, isn't he?
He sure is. He's great, actually, in it.
He is.
Yeah, all the performances are fantastic. It's just, it's paced so weirdly. Like this is a segment that goes on too long. Like that's a blackout sketch for you. We talk about blackout sketches a lot over on our Night Gallery podcast. And that one felt like it was this, and just, You got the joke as soon as they said we need an unknown soldier. Like, oh, they picked this kid. How fucked up. And then it just kind of keeps going with the kid not really getting it. Like, I guess that's the joke.
Well, I like that he doesn't get it. And then I'm also a huge fan of playing it straight. It's played completely straight. Like, and I'm not saying there aren't things played completely straight in the movie. There are. But this being played straight was essential to selling it as an idea. Yeah. And I understand why it wouldn't have worked. And I agree with you. It is a little long. And I also agree with you. It is a blackout sketch kind of made flesh. But I actually think, again, for me, like that level of humor is like scot-free. It's like you're really poking fun at a lot of open wounds at once. And really making, I know why it's not in the movie because it does bring everything down, but I kind of like that. It brings everything down. Like and yes, if it were in the original cut of the movie, it would really feel like a tonal shift, but I'm okay with it. Now, all of that aside, I think this is the best thing we've watched all month in terms of like beat to beat to beat to beat to beat. And I actually hate the fact that we watched this because this is like in a very weird spot for me as like something I really enjoyed the first time and second time and third time I watched it. And now it's like, I can't stop thinking about how many of the jokes worked, how much of it made me laugh, how much of it is so ahead of time. Like the Rosanna Arquette, Steve Guttenberg thing feels weirdly prescient. And like, I don't know, we're obviously going to talk about all of it, but needless to say, this movie has Archie fucking Hahn in it. It has Henny Youngman in it. So you're checking boxes that I didn't even know were able to be checked by a sketch comedy film in 87. And you know what? I enjoyed it immensely. And frankly, as much as I did like, if we just qualify something like the Unknown Soldier sketch, because it's not part of the original movie, the best thing about this, because I just want to talk about this first up at the front, how was Henry Silva never actually the host of one of these shows? Because I would have watched that show. Yeah,
that even then, it is a very clear. The show is called Bullshit or Not, and it is a like paranormal, strange phenomenon investigative show, a la In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy. It is almost like even the opening credits are almost exactly the original In Search Of things. In this one, of course, it's a mashup of what if Jack the Ripper was the Loch Ness Monster,
which is just like the greatest what if question that I didn't know needed to be asked.
And it only gets better because they have a reenactment with a gigantic Loch Ness Monster with a top hat and tails, like propositioning a prostitute. I don't know. It still makes me laugh. Oh my God, Joe Dante. There you go. Yeah. To answer your question, I don't know how they didn't tap Henry Silva for that. Maybe they tried and he just wasn't into it or something. Because, the joke is at one point, did I take this job for a quick buck? We may never know the answers to these questions.
Well, and that is the thing. Like, for me, I think this movie is made with a level of tongue-in-cheekness that everything else wasn't interested in having. And this feels, look, the level of people in this are different than the other things. Like, the other thing had Chevy Chase in it for a second. The other thing had Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd in it for a second. This is like the level of people in this is pretty high too. Like compared, like I'm saying those people are, but like the involvement here is a lot for some of these people. And I don't weigh that against the movie, but I will say like in terms of like what this movie's successes are, I think this movie succeeds across the board more consistently than anything else has this month, except for maybe Kentucky Fried Movie, but John Landis. So I don't know, like the highs in this feel so high.
It's the slickest movie of all of them. It's the most professional. This is
the most movie.
Yeah, with actual actors and professionals behind the camera. Daniel Pearl, who shot this movie, you know what his first movie was? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Great family flick.
Yeah, but like to go from that almost documentarian thing to this, which is adopting every stuff. And what we liked about Kentucky Fried Movie is that Landis was able to transform his directorial style in each segment to cater to that segment. Here we've got 4 to 5 directors. Peter Horton directed one segment because his girlfriend agreed to be in the movie so he could do that. The other directors, let's say, doing good work.
I will say Daniel Pearl, I do love the fact that it came back to work on the second Texas Chainsaw, the reboot, which I am a huge fan of, and I have no problem admitting, which I know is kind of an unpopular opinion, but did anyone see that? Do what?
Well, what you gonna do?
I know, right? Like, people gonna come. I think, excuse me, in terms of a unified vision, I think this movie gets away with that thing of not having to have it be, because of the framing device working rather well.
Yeah, here the other movies are just sketch comedy with no real framing device for it.
With no forward momentum at all.
You get the idea that we were watching TV with GrooveTube. We get the idea that we were watching TV on Kentucky Fried Movie. But here is definitely, there is someone changing the channel.
Right. Which makes sense why Daniel Pearl is a cinematographer. Because if you're a documentarian, like, you're trying to, this always feels like it's there's a magic trick going on here with like found footage and like these kinds of movies. Because it's a sketch comedy movie, but at the same time, it's also kind of like not found footage, but I don't know how to explain, like, they're trying to replicate a certain experience that is had by doing a certain thing, which is sitting and watching television. So what do you call that kind of movie that's attempting, like, WNUF Halloween Special is technically considered a found footage movie, but it's doing something else very specifically, I don't know, stylistic. And this is doing that exact same thing. And like you said, GrooveTube and Kentucky Fried Movie go there, but this goes there that one step further, that 5 to 10% more. And I think it allows me to feel like, okay, yeah, like when you're watching TV, some things do and don't work completely. And so that works here in the grand narrative of what they're doing. And I can kind of give it, I don't know why I would give it more of a pass, but I don't know. It doesn't, unlike GrooveTube, this doesn't linger on its failures as long either.
It doesn't linger at all, really. I mean, the longest segment here is the Amazon Women on the Moon parody, but that wisely is broken up into segments.
Which, come to think of it, if they had done that in Kentucky Fried Movie with the Bruce Lee parody, I think they would have alleviated some of the problems that it had.
Yeah, it's, if you're going for a late night viewing experience, you don't just stay and watch the entire movie. You flip around, and there are commercials, and, No, it's just a little more rounded out here in this film as far as the structure. Well,
it feels like you're coming into things like the Michelle Pfeiffer and Peter Horton sketch. That doesn't feel like a sketch as much as I'm coming into another show and then I'm changing the channel on the show and going to something else. And that is such a weird thing to emulate that it's a sketch comedy, but the constraints are super weird. Like the Unknown Soldier thing is, they definitely started with, wouldn't it be weird if they had to find an unknown soldier? And that's the nugget. It has to be the close kernel of the idea. But where they go with it is setting it in a World War II TV show, or World War I TV show. I'm assuming that's supposed to be World War I, given that they're in a trench, but who the fuck knows? Set in a war TV show. And they emulate the style of the war TV show as well as answering that sketch comedy question. But that's 2 or 3 things you're doing. It's not just like with GrooveTube, a sketch comedy thing. And we're parodying the Yellow Pages thing. Like, okay, but like you're just doing that thing.
There are the references and parodies aren't as specific here. I mean, they are in some cases, but they're so funny. And that was the problem we had with GrooveTube. It's like, if you're going to make a joke specifically aimed at something in pop culture at that time, and the joke is that they recognize it, then that joke no longer works 5 years later. Whereas here, it's not as political, the film, and it is made by professionals. And this one was written by 2 writers, Michael Barry and Jim Mulholland, who, unlike every sketch comedy movie we've seen this year, other than Michael O'Donoghue, but I do not count his experiences in television as actual television writing, because he was just doing his own thing and somebody was covering him. Jim Mulholland and Michael Barry were the lead writers on Johnny Carson's Tonight Show from 1982 to like 89 or 87 or something. And then they were on David Letterman for a decade. And they also wrote at like every Academy Awards. And it's like, these are television people writing a parody of late night television. So that in a way elevates it as well.
And I think it helps sell what they're going for. that they have such a distinct wrangle on these ideas and such a distinct understanding of how to sell these things in a way that not only, again, you're selling the idea, but you're also selling the comedy behind it. Because a lot of these things are played straight, completely straight. Understand what the joke was in the opening segment.
That was just a bad day. We all have a bad day. That one made me laugh a lot as a kid because it's all just silent film kind of.
Okay, that's what I thought it was supposed to be. Like I was just like, it's just a Buster Keaton thing. It's just, I guess for me as someone now in 2023, my wrangle on Arsenio Hall is a little, it's, you know what I mean? Like Arsenio Hall is not someone whose popularity and fame necessarily went outside of the late 80s, early 90s. Like Arsenio, I mean, I don't know what he's up to right now, but.
Nor do I. And this was the first time I had ever seen Arsenio Hall. If you look in the credits, he's just Arsenio.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Like he was a personality. Like,
yeah. And well, he was in very, very funny. I think was Coming to America before or after this movie?
This was before. Coming to America is 88.
Oh, okay. So there you go, which John Landis directed. So Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy. There you go. Arsenio's fame doesn't factor into that sketch. Like it almost works against it now because we only know him as the talk show host who hoots a lot. And, Well,
that's what I mean. It's just like I've never seen Coming to America.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you should see Coming to America. He's really good in that. He's really good in Harlem Nights, Eddie Murphy's directorial debut. Arsenio Hall has one scene in it. He's fucking hilarious. So yeah, that if that segment accomplished anything for me back in the day, it made me an Arsenio Hall fan. So I was well on board for the Arsenio ascent to fame, and then just as willing to no longer engage in Arsenio when it just kind of came to the same thing.
Right. Like I appreciate the influences of Chaplin and Keaton, and like I appreciate all of that, obviously. But to me, yeah, like again, it just seemed like, oh, look, it's Arsenio Hall. Like, you know what I mean? Like I
like a stunt cast thing, but really it was just supposed to be anonymous guy.
Right. That's what it does seem a little stunt casty is what I was getting at. So.
But what about Monique Gabrielle? Would you consider that stunt casting?
I think that's one of the funnier segments.
I do too.
It's so passive aggressive in a lot of parts about LA and New York, and I love it. Well, out in LA, I could never walk around like this in New York City.
Art is my life. Yeah, the pet house video parody, the just a day in the life of a pet house pet where she's just wandering everywhere naked. Great segment.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable watching for the first time when I was 14, sitting next to my mother in a movie theater. Couple of segments. What's weird? There are a couple of moments in this film with that I assumed John Landis directed. This was one of them, and he did not. This is Carl Gottlieb directed this. But of course, this is the 1970s, and up until like 1968, 9, you couldn't even show nudity in film. So, it was a boundary pusher as far as what you had seen in sort of like sketch comedy, because everyone was familiar with sketch comedy. They'd all seen Carol Burnett.
Right.
But here's some penis. What do you think of that?
Right. Big wiener on screen, please. How about Lou Jacoby, though, as one of the great it's the best reoccurring sketch in this entire thing.
Absolutely. You can have this character come in and out. It's what's it called? Murray in Videoland. So a guy buys a new remote control for his television, zaps himself inside, and now his wife has control of the remote. She keeps changing the channel, and so he keeps ending up in whatever station she turns it to. So he ends up in King Kong, and he ends up at a baseball game. Incidentally, the announcer in the baseball game, Phil Hartman.
I noticed that. I could tell by the voice.
So good. So nice to hear his voice. Yeah, he's great in that sequence. And what you said is so true. What ends up happening, because we're watching TV for the rest of the movie, is that occasionally Murray will just wander into the frame.
Yeah. Help me. Get me out of here, Selma. Oh, it's the harried old man wandering the TV landscape is, and you leave the movie with it, at least in the fan edit. It's kind of, it takes you out of the movie until the bloopers. So
yeah, no, and that's how the movie went anyway.
I will say Michelle Pfeiffer.
Luminous Michelle Pfeiffer?
Maybe didn't need to be.
She did, because she needed to get her husband, Peter Horton, a directing gig in this movie.
Right.
And
right.
Worked with John Landis on Into the Night.
But you know what I mean in terms of like
100% doesn't need to be here. No.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because like it's it's Michelle Pfeiffer, and like that's kind of as far as that goes with that. Like
it's two straight men. She and Peter Horton are both playing straight men to Griffin Dunne, who is there anyone else actually in the scene?
That's my point.
Oh my God. He just walks in and is like, hey, everybody, you're just going to pay attention to me now. And we do.
And he's, I mean, it's a little bit of mugging. It's a lot of bit of mugging, but I kind of don't care because it is so quick.
It's mugging correctly. It's like
correct.
Tell you we've lost your child. It should be this guy.
Right. Oh, that's Mr. Potato Head. What? No, it's not. Hey, their heads are pointy. I promise it'll be fixed in a week.
Like, they look like you could see why I made the mistake.
Right. And that, you know, I think for me, look, I kind of mentioned already After Hours and my love of Griffin Dunne, but yeah, he's almost too good.
Oh, like, he's great. Yeah.
He's too good for the scene. Like, I'm not saying Michelle Pfeiffer and Peter Horton aren't good, but like they are given so little to do and have to be so straight because he is so whacked out that it should have just been two random actors. It didn't have to be Michelle Pfeiffer. It is kind of distracting that it is Michelle Pfeiffer almost.
I think, honestly, this one to me was so funny. Griffin Dunne is so funny here that the next couple of segments, I can't even like appreciate all that much. What came after this is Hair Looming, and then the beginning of Amazon Women on the Moon. And the entire time I was still thinking about Griffin Dunne. In fact, I gotta say, Chris, like since 1987, that line I said at the beginning there, ooh, Lamaze, all I had to get by was a Harvard Medical School. You know, you sat on a floor breathing for 3 weeks. Like, oh, you want to spend some quality time with your son? Those lines are in my head and have been in my head forever. If I hear the word Lamaze, I hear Griffin Dunne immediately go, ooh, Lamaze.
I love fucking Griffin Dunne, man. Like, he is without a doubt one of my like favorite actors. Like, I don't know, like, and I haven't seen him in everything that he's been in, but I've seen him in enough things to know that he is a genuinely interesting actor who makes interesting choices in the things that he produces, directs, and stars in. Because shit, he directed a segment in movie 43.
Was it a good one?
I don't know. I have never seen it. But like that to me is interesting that he clearly, I mean, he has an interest in being part of a thing that he was part of in the 80s. And he also directed Practical Magic, which it's pretty good movie. I've seen it a fair amount of times. It could be, you know, biased, but it's not bad.
You're married. Of course you've seen it a bunch of times.
Oh, fuck you. It's not a bad movie, and you know that. And you can give me a hard time all you like, but in terms of inoffensive Halloween-ish movies, it's not that bad.
Listen, it's well directed, and I love the cast, except for Nicole Kidman.
I mean, I feel like that is always Nicole Kidman.
She shouldn't be in anything. She should be in Moulin Rouge, and she should be in To Die For, The End. She
should, and she reminds me a lot of oh God, what's the other actress? It's Nicole Kidman. Oh, Anne Hathaway. Like you just shouldn't be allowed to be in anything. Like it's like I'm not saying you should have a job, but you're just kind of off-putting.
It's a weird thing, right? It's that. It's the opposite of the it factor.
Right. And we might sound misogynistic, but I can tell you plenty of male actors I feel the exact same way about.
More than
Sam Worthington.
That's a good one.
Joel Edgerton.
No.
Okay, not Joel Edgerton.
No, Sam Worthington. Who was the other one?
Jai Courtney. Yeah. Who was the guy from Tron? Garrett Hedlund.
Garrett Hedlund. I like Garrett Hedlund, actually.
Garrett Hedlund's good in his native language.
Did you see
The Crossing?
No, the Coen Brothers film. The fucking folk movie.
Oh, Buster Scruggs?
No, that's a Western. The folk movie. The folky with Oliver, what's his name? Isaac Oliver.
Inside Llewellyn Davis.
Inside Llewellyn Davis. Yes, Garrett Hedlund is fucking awesome in that movie.
Actually, you know what? Here, awesome. I'll throw a name out there. Kevin Costner.
Yeah. You know what? No, I run hot and cold on Costner.
I run cold on Costner.
Depends on the role, though. Did you see The Untouchables?
Still haven't, baby.
Come on, man. Brian
I know. Well, you know how to get me to watch it. Got him. Look, I will say back to Griffin Dunne and Griffin Dunne in this movie, he kind of runs away with it.
For that scene, yeah, like I said, there's an absence.
Not just for the scene, but like he is such a good. He is so good. He is a standout of the movie.
Right, but then no one was ready for, and now see, you get a little bit robbed here because you know all of the players. Like even the most minor roles in this movie are like known people now.
Yes.
But on No Soul Simmons by David Alan Grier, I lost my shit when I saw it the first time. I still do, actually. He's so earnest. He's so fucking funny. He's a recurring character that keep popping up. In fact, he pops up so much that in the Titan Man Condom Sketch at the very end of the movie, when they pull up to the pharmacy, Don No Soul Simmons is on their radio playing.
Man, you know what? I love a good fucking reoccurring gag done well.
Yeah, because when it starts out, it's just how sad. Look at this guy. He has no soul. And then a little while later, we get his like greatest hits. like late. It's so good.
And fucking BB King, man. Like hi, I'm BB King. And I'd like to tell you about blacks without soul. Holy shit. And boy, the male Republican is is just hits a little too close to home, as we like to say in 2023.
June and Ward.
Yeah.
You know, I even met David Newman once. Yeah, that's pretty great. There are a couple of segments here where I would assume John Landis had directed it. This one, you know for sure, John Landis directed this one with BB King's involvement.
Yeah, I was about to say like the ones that Landis has directed stand out, obviously. Right?
They do. I do think the MVP in this movie is Joe Dante, and the one segment that I was convinced he had done, turns out he didn't, but apparently was the segment that he wanted, but it had already been spoken for, which is the Son of the Invisible Man, which is my favorite segment in the movie.
Oh, is it really?
Oh yeah, that gets me. That could have played very well on Night Gallery as a blackout sketch. Actually,
I agree.
It's an invisible man who thinks he's invisible, but he's not, and he's insane. And Ed Begley is so fucking funny in that sequence. He's talk about playing it straight. Everyone is playing it straight, and it's the most ridiculous situation of all time. And it's so detailed, like just the here comes the invisible man again, and the general groan in the pub, like not again. Like everyone's playing along with this lunatic.
Right.
I don't know. Gets me, and it's so well. It's such a good reproduction of the original Universal film.
Yes, oh my God, he does everything. He does everything perfect. All of the things that you would want to be done. And it was surprising for me to learn that was not John Landis, because it feels like such a Landis thing. Like
Dante, more Dante than Landis. That's what I thought.
But I mean, either one of them, like just like being a student of the game. Like if you or I were doing that, I would want to have the original Universal opening. Like you have to go there. You have to, and like the text and the music and the lighting and and it's all there. And and it's neither one of them. It's Carl Gottlieb. Wow. Like that's beyond impressive.
Yeah, Carl Gottlieb really turns it out in this film. Like all of his parody stuff is as well observed as any of the other guys here. But you know what's funny is because I think Joe Dante like rises above everyone, but my favorite segment is a Carl Gottlieb. Joe Dante directed Reckless Youth, which ends the movie, which to me is the funniest one of the thing. Not my favorite because I just love Ed Begley being silly for however long, but I think Reckless Youth is deliriously funny. It has the funniest line in the movie. We haven't got any cigarettes.
I mean, Paul Bartel. I actually the Reckless Youth segment didn't work for me.
Oh.
Only because I felt it went a little too long.
A little too long.
I don't know. Like I don't know. For me, it was just, I don't know.
A version that was longer than the one that I've seen.
That's fair.
There's another, they cut in another whole moment that should have been cut.
Maybe just me personally, I'm not interested in seeing a Reefer Madness style parody. That could be it. Like, I don't know. Like, I was just kind of like, okay, like it's Carrie Fisher. Like, I love Paul Bartel. So that was the huge saving grace of that for me, was it's just Paul Bartel being fucking hilarious.
The impact of those shock the youth into not doing drugs movies, the JD kind of films. That impact is much less than here in 2023 than it was in 1987. Like those are curiosities at best now.
Reefer Madness did it so well. It's like,
yeah, that's the thing. It's almost like why parody the thing that's basically a parody of itself. But I do think this one is so like perfectly observed,
right?
Like what you were saying, but like, having Landis or Dante, they are students of cinema, so they're going to get it right. Like the one they keep reusing over and over again in Reckless Youth, and now it's her apartment, now it's the doctor's office, now it's the thing. Like that sort of thing makes me happy. Oh, the other thing that made me very happy is it ended up being a miracle picture. If it's a good picture, it's a miracle.
Miracle, yeah, which is great.
It's from Joe Dante's film Hollywood Boulevard. That was about a movie studio, Miracle Pictures. So nice. It was a nice callback to himself. There's lots of callbacks. There's callbacks to fucking Kentucky Fried Movie in this film. Samuel Bronkowitz is a few times,
and he's thanked in the credits.
Yeah, but he's the one who signs the Declaration of Independence at the big giveaway.
Troubling Evidence, I've heard. When I saw that it was the same guy from Troubling Evidence, I was like, man, what you picked a great person to do this style of thing. The John Ingle just has that voice. Like, I don't know, it works for what he's trying to do. It
works wonderfully because it starts out and it's the sort of erudite, refined guy, and then he becomes the crazy Eddie style pitchman, so it's even funnier.
Come and get King Tut's tomb and we'll throw in the Declaration of Independence. Like, whoa,
everything must go.
Yeah, I would say that John Landis for me is the best director of the piece, but I think I will have to go with Joe Dante because Critics Corner and Roast Your Loved One they're the two best pieces of thing in this, like in terms of like actual narrative, because I would say there's a narrative through line between the two. So it's a mini narrative within this piece. I would say it's the best narrative thing here because it does everything perfectly. And it has Archie Hahn and Henny Youngman. That alone.
Yeah. Archie Hahn's so funny as the sad sack guy when he's watching the show for the first time. And like the arty crap. Like they review one movie and like he reviews it himself, and then they review something else and he says, "You're an albino. What the hell do you know?"
Archie Hahn being given an opportunity to be on screen as the lead of a segment, just like, what universe do we live in? Like, I love it. I don't know.
Yeah, Harvey Pitkin. Oh my God, it's such a good segment. It's basically he's watching Siskel and Ebert, and they start reviewing his life, and it causes him to have a heart attack. It's so good. Belinda Belaski there. She's a Joe Dante regular. She was in The Burbs playing Harvey Pitkin's wife.
I will say there's a little bit of Ebert and Siskel jabs. Which I appreciate. Like
it's again very, very well observed. The interactions between them, like when they would get all into each other and like in total agreement about something. Siskel and Ebert like getting real
close. Yeah, getting close to each other. Like, and holy shit, he even roast the two of them for their feelings on Animal House, Slob House.
Yeah, frat slobs, and they actually show a picture from Animal House, which is great.
But I mean, as a fan of Henny Youngman and those comedians, like, oh my God, like that entire segment is just insanity made reality.
Now, let me once again say, here's where the fan edit falters, because the sequence that they've cut back into the film is Robert Picardo arriving as the paramedics have come to take away Harvey Pitkin's body, and then he convinces the wife that they're going to do a roast, right? Which includes, by the way, the paramedic is Bryan Cranston, who has a credit on the movie and has apparently been vocal about how it's the one credit he would want taken off of his IMDb page because he's not in the movie. Because the scene was never in the movie.
Right.
Okay.
Brian, I've seen it.
Yeah. You've seen it now. I've seen it. Yeah. That sequence is deleted for a reason. Because let me tell you, when you went from Harvey Pitkin falling over and dying to a commercial to his funeral, where it suddenly becomes a roast, that surprise is so much better than everything Picardo and Belaski are doing together in that scene.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I I don't know why you would put it back in unless it's just a completionist thing, because I didn't think it worked very well either, because it would be better to not know where it's going. I mean, they don't say who's doing it, at least. At least they're not like, well, it's going to be Slappy White and Rip Taylor and blah, blah. It's like, at least they don't give up the ghost like that, but they pretty much let you know more or less where the joke is headed.
Yeah, here it comes, folks. Here's the setup for the premise. There will be no surprise.
And I'm not a huge fan of that.
No, but the roast itself is pretty fucking great.
And Henny Youngman is terrible.
Oh yeah, they're all terrible.
Yeah,
It's
which is the best part.
Yeah, including, by the way, Jackie Vernon is up there on that panel. You remember him, Effendi?
Right? Oh my God.
Laugh.
Oh, Effendi. Oh, Effendi. I mean, he's fucking, oh, happy birthday. Yeah, I remember Jackie Vernon because he's the voice of Frosty the fucking Snowman. Yeah, I love Jackie Vernon. I mean, he's funny. He's fucking great. And Henny Youngman is hilarious. Like, he really is so funny.
There's a moment where I will say, watch the outtakes where you can hear Joe Dante yelling directions to him. And like, what am I doing? What? Tell a joke.
A Jew walks into a psychiatrist's office. It's just like he's bombing, but him bombing is the funniest. I even got Steve Allen there. Like, good on them. They really, everything is, like you said, well observed, which I think is the benefit here. Like, if you have people who understand it and are able to communicate that in a believable way, but still be funny, but convince me that you've seen the thing that you're parodying, I'm on board.
So what did you think of Video Pirates?
I laughed the whole time because Blackula was the lead captain.
Oh my God, he's so good. William Marshall.
Yeah.
The King of Tunes. Yeah, I love that segment. That made us all deliriously happy in 87 when we were all pirating everything all the time.
I loved it. I mean, Pirates Now, baby, Pirates to the End. They've got laser discs. Oh.
Those, you can't record on them.
Yeah. Oh my God. And hey, who's not a fan of Donald Gibb, huh? Nerds.
Here in Las Vegas, and I'm dying to run into him sometime.
Ogre.
He will yell nerds if you ask him.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Of course.
He's a bear of a man.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. Yeah, all of them. Tino Insana is one of the pirates. He's fucking good too.
Frank Collison is one of the pirates.
Fucking A, man. Like, and I think Landis directed this one as well. If you notice, or did he? It might have been Carl Gottlieb.
This was Robert K. Weiss.
Dark Horse. Robert K. Weiss. Did you notice they had the treasure chest filled with the original master tapes that they were going to use to dub? Did you see the titles in there? Well, 2 copies of See You Next Wednesday. There was a copy of Hitler's Home Movies. Oh wait, I got it right here. Hold on. Police Squad the movie, which had been filmed but not released yet as The Naked Gun. Laurel and Hardy. There's the Air Circus, Deep Throat Screen Tests, and a copy of Cleopatra Schwartz.
Hey, there's that callback.
All the callbacks to the Kentucky Fried.
Yeah, I like that there are callbacks to Kentucky Fried Movie in other segments that aren't directed by the Kentucky Fried Movie people. I mean, I know Robert K. Weiss was part of it, but yeah. Like it would be like John Landis doing John Landis stuff. He wasn't necessarily just doing John Landis stuff, is what I mean. And I appreciate that. I mean, again, there's a lot of the successes here are due to the way this is put together. You can tell that are you talking about like the order of the segments? But also the editing and just the way these segments are put together. It's like they really understand what they're parodying. Yeah, they do. And in a lot of cases, recreating them like beat for beat, not necessarily shot for shot. So yeah, like all the pirate stuff, like the way they're filming the pirate ships, it all looks the way it's supposed to. And it's like, why are you going through all this effort? They're cutting in a lot of stock footage from early pirate films from the 50s. So, and it looks pretty fucking spot on. Right. I mean, look, Amazon Women on the Moon, I think it is a varying degrees of success parody, but not in terms of production design. Oh, it's perfect. Right. It is perfect in terms of production design, like almost too good. Another segment where, like, based on what he did in Matinee with Mant, I assumed Joe Dante had directed Amazon Women on the Moon, that segment. But again, that's Robert K. Weiss. Right. And that seems to me that if you cut that movie together
and just put it on, I would be convinced that it were just another movie from the 50s.
Right. Oh, completely. And that's what makes it such a success for me. And that's why, I kind of always tend to say with stuff like this, the best kinds of parodies are parodies where they can be the thing that they're parodying just as well as a parody. Like Hot Fuzz is a parody of action movies, but it's also a pretty good action movie in terms of what it's trying to do. And Hot Shots is, Hot Shots, Naked Gun, all of those things kind of fall into the same camp, or Mafia even. And I don't know, if you're putting in thought and time and effort, it comes through in what you're doing.
Certainly in this case.
Yeah.
This was probably a lark for all of these guys, but it's not like they didn't approach it in a serious manner and give us a professional and well thought out feature.
Right.
Not that this movie did very well or got seen in theaters. I think the total gross was like $500,000 or something like that, and I can gladly say I contributed to that $500,000.
I don't understand why it wasn't a success, other than part of it is the Twilight Zone thing.
Well, this movie was shot in 85 and 86, and then they sat on it for a year until that trial was over. So you're not wrong. That was a big detriment, maybe, to getting the movie out when they initially had intended.
Which is a shame.
Yeah. But, it's not like Landis was persona non grata. Like, he had to film his segments quick on this movie because he was prepping to go shoot The Three Amigos,
Right.
He just into the night, so.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So I think that's unfortunate that it kind of gets this weird spot of it kind of wasn't successful, and by kind of it wasn't, but it seems like maybe it was not the movie's fault. I don't know though, sketch comedy movies are kind of hard to tell though, because I don't know how you feel about this statement, but I feel like I'm making this statement. This might be a hot take. I feel like sketch comedy movies are kind of a bad idea.
Now they are.
Right. But I feel like the lack of money that these things made kind of validates in a lot of ways. I think sketch comedy is better served in a medium where it can react to the world in a quicker pace, as opposed to attempting to find a time in the world and parody that, and also make sure we're topical. Because SNL is enjoyed because you can go back and see those things and they are topical to the time they came out. Stuff like this, some of these things, okay, fine, but it just feels like we're kind of sitting and waiting for you to get on to the next thing. SNL, it's I'm enjoying it within the framework of the time it came out. Not saying we can't do that here with this. It seems a little harder.
Definitely in this day and age. The immediacy with which you can parody something is just obliterates any necessity for a feature film that would make the same point, or even a different point on it. I don't know that it's an unfortunate thing. I don't know that there should be more sketch comedy movies. I think I'm perfectly satisfied with the four I've that I brought up. I know there are others. I'm not saying there aren't. Tunnel Vision's out there, and there are a few others, but I think they've represented a particular time and place when there was nothing like that. And certainly you weren't getting hard-edged, R-rated kind of sketch material, but now you can get that fucking everywhere. You can get it on Saturday Night Live, basically.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. It's the time for this style of movie seems to have passed because, TikTok, Vine, YouTube, TikTok, short form entertainment is sketch comedy if you can push it that far. And there have been people that have pushed it that far that now have jobs on SNL because of. So, which is a weird thing to think about. It's in a lot of ways. Second City exists, the Groundlings exist, but now you can mine the bigger pool of the internet. So have at it. But at the same time, it also almost invalidates anything other than legacy things existing as sketch comedies. Because it's it's so hard to get anybody's attention anymore unless you're SNL.
That's true, but there's some good other sketch comedy shows out there. I can't think of any at the moment.
Tim Robinson, I think you should leave.
That's certainly one that people like.
I can understand why you would not like it 100%.
But I'm not a fan necessarily. No, he seems like a perfectly nice guy. I just I don't respond to the humor.
What about Eric Andre?
A little closer. I can kind of appreciate his just because I don't necessarily love uncomfortable humor, but I can appreciate it.
What about Jackass?
Oh, I love Jackass.
But that's sketch comedy, right?
Yeah, I mean, in that they're
because the show is more. I'm not talking the movies. The movies kind of give it up, but the show had a lot of like sketch comedy stuff.
Yeah,
like a lot of like man on the street shit, and like a lot of like scripted stuff as well.
Yeah, like where you again pranks, but like something as simple as Chris Pontius dressed like the devil, like out there saying "Keep God out of California." Like that's a sketch. Right. It's a unknowing participants, but it is a sketch. If you want to see a really good, it's not current now; it's a couple of years old. But there's a great comedy sketch show from Canada called Baroness von Sketch. That one's really, really good. You could burn through that sometime.
Well, I mean, isn't there are plenty of like British sketch comedy shows? The Mighty Boosh. I mean, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean
anything Matt Berry has essentially been in the UK. Like a lot of his stuff is sketch comedy. That's right.
Have you at all? Have we talked about that?
Do what?
You watched Toast of London at all? His show.
This is the second time this has come up today.
Is it?
Yeah, Maggie the Odd suggested Toast of London to me earlier because we were talking about Matt Berry.
Have you seen it? You haven't seen it. You should definitely watch. Oh, okay. The pilot is hilarious. I've watched it like 5 times.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I love Matt Berry. I mean, I love Matt Berry in What We Do in the Shadows and Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. But I mean, Laszlo is my fucking like spirit animal so hard in that show. And everything about the energy that he has, I love. And I love, I mean, in a show of roles that are massive, that take up the screen, he manages to be the biggest one on screen at any time, which I mean, testament to Matt Berry as an actor. So sketch comedy is around. I just think it's very far off in the distance.
You know, I have a pair of underwear with Matt Berry on them. As a normal human.
Did you get them on like Temu?
I don't know where. I don't know. My girlfriend Amber got them for me.
Where are they selling Matt Berry underwear is the question. That's like a question that needs to kind of be answered now.
Any random day, I might be walking around with Matt Berry plastered across my ass.
You know what? I feel like Matt Berry would approve of that.
I hope so. I mean, I'm a big fan. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I would love to see a sketch comedy thing with more recent actors, and then we have movie 40. Like, you know what I mean? Like I ask for those kinds of things to happen, and then we see those kinds of things happen, and it's a fucking nightmare.
I think the problem is it needs to happen organically, you know?
Right. Totally.
Like, I'm sure Jim Mulholland and Michael Barry wrote that sketch comedy thing out of their frustration from writing sketches for Johnny Carson for years, you know?
Right. Totally.
So like this, hey, let's all get together and make a movie. Like we're Mickey Rooney and fucking Judy Garland, like movie 43 or whatever. Like, no, it's always a good idea to get a bunch of people together to make something and get different points of view and everything. But like, it has to come from some central source. You need a Ken Shapiro
or a John Landis.
Yeah.
Or a ZAZ or any, I mean, again, like, I don't know, but, you know, we say you need a Ken Shapiro, but Groove 2 was not as successful as it could have been because it was Ken Shapiro in a lot of ways. Or it was only Ken Shapiro, I guess, is a better way.
You know that 4-Leaf Clover sketch where he's pounding on Chevy Chase's head? Chevy Chase said that he almost knocked him out there at the end. Ken Shapiro, he said at the start, you can see he's just padding, and then he's going for it. Like, he was not holding back. He never held back.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. Still a good movie.
I think all the movies we've watched this month have been pretty good. Like, again, because sketch comedy is just so hard to do anyways. Like, the fact that they work at all is frankly a surprise, but like the fact that they work as well as they do. And each of the movies has a sketch that I think is good enough to warrant watching the entire movie. I mean, you just mentioned one of my favorite parts of the Groove 2, and now I love it even more.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I agree with that. Every one of these movies has one sketch that I can say you should watch the whole thing. And this one has multiple sketches, actually. Yeah,
the Henry Silva one is up there. Everything with Archie Hahn is definitely up there. I really like the Matt Adler, the Titan condoms thing, because that just feels like someone's nightmare made real. Like the nightmare that any one of us would have ever had, buying condoms as teenagers. You won the prize. No, get me. No.
Just wanted one.
Yeah, that's somebody's horrifying nightmare made reality, and I love it, frankly.
The first time I went to buy condoms, that scene was in my head.
I believe it. What did you say you needed? Speak up, Sonny. Like, oh God, no.
What's great is it's uncomfortable on every level. Like, it's the kind of old man who's talking about his mother because she brought him preserves and she'll call him right now. I was young once. I know what a man like you wants. A licorice stick. These are fresh. Just came in. Like, I have to break this old man's heart. And now I've got to. Oh, great. Now Howard Hessman is here and a giant anthropomorphized condom.
Yeah. Also, the giant pecker is good Lord. I will say, I think in terms of like understated and working, like the most understated segment in the entire piece, and the one that maybe I laughed the hardest at while I was watching it, was Peter Pan Theater. Which, like, the joke is so understated until it's not, and then it is again. And I love that it's played so straight. I love how straight it is played. And it's got Jenny Agutter, who I think last time we saw her was like Tales from the Crypt.
That's true. Unless you've watched The Avengers recently. She's one of the council in The Avengers. That's another Landis. Obviously, this is the American Werewolf connection with Jenny Agutter. And I agree with you. Like, the idea that it's sort of stunt theater. The whole joke is that because everyone was so wowed by Sandy Duncan flying around the theater as Peter Pan, that they're now going to have that same function in other shows like Antony and Cleopatra, where she, for no reason, at some point flies away. I just wish that the last scene when they're doing, what are they doing? Uncle Vanya?
Yeah.
I wish like more of them had just been floating around during the scene. Like, I wanted more and more of it.
Yeah, I agree. But I think because it is so short, the joke doesn't get old.
Right. And that's another cut segment, by the way. It's a deleted scene.
It's a shame. It's funny. It's really funny. Like, it's not the ha 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 that everybody would want from that, but it is a ha 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 of a different variety, and I loved it.
But what about video dating? It's a segment that I believe that it's like a direct sequel to the news segment at the end of Kentucky Fried Movie, where the newscast
100%,
right? But like taken to a fucking lunatic level. I love this segment. The cast is perfect. Russ Meyer is the fucking guy giving him the videotape at the beginning, who has my favorite line reading in the entire thing when he tells him his name, Ray. Like
yeah. And I love Mark McClure. I mean, look, he is fantastic at The Thing. He's Marty McFly's brother, is he not?
He absolutely is. And he's fucking Jimmy Olsen in the original Christopher Reeve Superman. If you look on the table that he sits down, when he sits down with his popcorn, there's a copy of Jimmy Olsen comic there.
You know what I have not seen?
The original Superman.
Any of the Supermens.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, he's Jimmy Olsen in those movies. Have you ever heard of See's Candy? It's a very big
Yeah,
his parents own that.
Oh.
So I'm assuming he did. Yeah. Richard Donner said it was lovely having Mark McClure in the cast because he always brought such delicious candy with him.
I mean, See's Candy's fucking delicious, so...
It is.
Just guess. I mean, my mom grew up in San Francisco, and that's a holdover thing that now is everywhere that you can get. So I'm with you on the See's Candy. Must be nice. Holy shit.
Was he so thin?
Yeah, boy. I'd be like Augustus Gloop, brother. Like, I don't know how you're that thin, being the heir to a chocolate dynasty. But hey, we finally get to talk about our friend Hey Diddle Diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Go fuck yourself. Fucking Andrew Dice Clay. Oh no. When he showed up, I was like, man, we finally get to talk about the Dice Man.
Dude, what tack would you like to take on Andrew Dice Clay? Because I experienced him starting here through the big rise and the insane sort of fame level, and then the big controversy on Saturday Night Live where Nora Dunn refused to participate if he was going to be the host. And I despised that character that he was doing. That just that sexist, vaguely racist. Palooka kind of character. Fonzie with Tourette's is how
Goomba. He's a fucking Goomba.
Yeah, like I don't like that character. Now, on the other hand, Andrew Andrew Dice Clay, the guy, Andrew Clay Silverstein there, he's very, very funny, and he's very, very talented. He's a very good actor. He's great here in the segment. I've of late really enjoyed his sort of straight dramatic performances. He was on Vinyl, that Martin Scorsese show on HBO, where he was great in that. And then he was just in A Star Is Born as Lady Gaga's dad, the limo driving father, who's you know, he's I don't know. I like him a tremendous deal now, but when he was at his most famous for what he created, I did not like him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will say that I think the character of the Dice Man is a funny, anachronistic thing that could only have existed at the time it existed at, and it could only have existed so successfully at the time that it existed at. Because yeah, Jack and Jill went up the hill and they had sex together, and then they rolled down the hill together is not something that anybody in 2023 gives a shit about. But I guess in the late 80s, early 90s, that was all the rage, was dirty limericks and jokes. So you know, look, I think Andrew Dice Clay is the character is exactly what you said, but I think it's a funny anachronism of a time long past. In terms of Andrew Dice Clay, the man, I ain't got no problem with him. He seems like a normal person, and his interviews and things that he has done outside of the character seem to reinforce that. So seems like an interesting guy.
I met him once at Frankie's Tiki Room. He was very sweet.
Seems like he'd be a nice guy. He's a stand-up comedian.
Man, he seems like a decent sort, but it's unfortunate that he was that guy. I can appreciate that your perspective of it is a curio. My perspective is a little different because I was watching it all unfold.
Right. I mean, I get that. And like seeing people actually, you know, in a lot of ways it's, and I don't want to compare it to this because this is much more well thought out and it has longer legs for a number of reasons. It's kind of like Borat. Like, you know, like Borat, I mean, Borat exists in COVID, which I still can't believe, but like, I don't think we would have gotten another Borat thing if not for COVID. But it's that same level of like, what a weird thing that like everybody was seemingly into like for a while. And now like that would not like a Kazakhstani journalist being weird and racist and saying like, again, like mishearing people saying retired and retarded, like that joke alone does not play for a lot of people now. Like it's still funny because I think what he's going for is funny, but it in of itself is a weird anachronism of a time not long past as much as Andrew Dice Clay, but still has that feeling of like, man, comedy's kind of come a long way in terms of what people are willing to laugh at, which is a shame in and of itself. I don't want to sound like, oh, you can't do funny things anymore, but there are just some things people can't joke about anymore. There just are. That is just reality. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine.
You can't joke about them until somebody finds a way to actually make it funny. And then we'll because as long as it's actually fucking funny and isn't coming from a punching down place, then you can kind of get behind it. I'm of the type that believes that. You know,
I mean, yeah,
anything is fodder for humor. In fact, a lot of horrible things necessitate humor just to deal with them, it would seem. But it does need to come from a place of love. Right.
And that's the problem. It's like a lot of the offensive humor now comes from a place of politicization, and it gets confused with a certain subsect of the political spectrum. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because like the offensive comedy has a place. And I am a huge fan of offensive comedy because offending people is not a problem if you're funny. I agree with you 100%. I say that there are some things you can't joke about because there are some things that most people won't let you joke about unless you are really punching it right in the face.
Right.
But punching it in the face is not something most people are wanting to do because that's hard to do and hard to do well.
Hard to do well. Unless you're super skilled at it, then it's all just sort of nonsense.
Right. There
has to be some thought behind it. You have to be making a point when you're doing it. It's not enough to, you know, it's like the reason the commercial parodies from GrooveTube don't work anymore. It's based on a familiarity with something and nothing else.
Right.
And all of this punching down sort of humor is hopefully on the way out, you know?
But to your point about video date, I think that segment's fucking hilarious.
It's a good end sketch for the movie, I think.
Yeah. As much as kind of an indictment of the audience being complicit in the horse shit you've been watching, now we're going to take the guy who's complicit off to jail. It's funny. And Mark McClure plays harried perfectly.
And now I'd like to mention Corinne Wall, the model in the scene, who's seducing him and then gives him up before she's murdered by Andrew Dice Clay. Grew up in Lynn, Massachusetts, which borders Revere, Massachusetts, which is the town right next to mine. Lynn, city of sin. Anyway, she was married to Ken Wall at the time. Remember him? Me neither.
Jesus Christ.
He's an actor. He was in a TV series called Wise Guy. It's actually a pretty good actor.
I know. I agree. I think it's a good way to leave the audience.
It kind of brings it full circle because we've been just watching TV the whole time, and now we get to witness. This might have been the guy who's been watching the TV all night, by the way. Right. This might be our viewer, and now he's gone out to rent a movie, and this is where he ends up. And by the way, I like that there are police on the television and in the room. It's all so surreal and weird. And the cop on the television is reading him his rights as the cops in the room are handcuffing him, taking him away. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, I loved it, and I love where they went. I love where they went with it as well, and I love that the mayor from RoboCop 2 is the cop.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know why he sticks in my mind, but his mayor in RoboCop 2 is just one of the strangest roles.
I forgot about that.
That whole movie is strange. RoboCop 2 is a weird movie. Thanks, Frank Miller.
Yeah, it needs a remake, actually.
It needs an exorcism. That movie's look, it has Tom Noonan in it, so.
I'm great at that movie. And that Rob Bottin made that torso of Peter Weller at one point. That's he's all busted up.
Oh, yeah.
It's so realistic and crazy. Those are the two good things about that movie. Yeah. Not the score. The score is terrible. Basil Polidoris turned in his worst score ever for RoboCop 2. RoboCop.
I haven't. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen beyond that, so I can't even comment at it if it gets worse. But RoboCop 2 is not great compared to RoboCop 1. But RoboCop 1 is like comparing Ghostbusters 1 to Ghostbusters 2. It's like, this is unfair.
It does have one moment that could have been in the first RoboCop, which is they're showing the attempts at making other RoboCops after Murphy, and how deleterious those scenarios ended up being. So they show one guy, he's in the robot suit, and he's just a skull, and he's screaming, and he shoots himself in the head like it's his first move.
Yeah. So no, you're right. That should have been in the first movie.
that is just as mean-spirited as the first film.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's weird to me that the fan edit has silly pate in the credits.
Yeah, that's super weird. See, that is what makes me question a fan edit. And I know most of the viewers here are going to be like, what the fuck are these idiots talking about? I've just seen this one movie with none of that shit in it. But silly pate was supposed to go between the picnic review and then the funeral. That's where I always saw it. And it's perfect there because you think you're going to continue on elsewhere, and then you get dragged back to the picnic funeral. And it's such a throwaway thing that why would you put it there?
I don't
this
know.
Person ended the film with that segment. That's wrong.
They must have really liked it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I think for me, where it ends up kind of hurting it because I was like, where is it? Why did you put it here? Of all the things to put at the end.
Yeah, no, we just need Don Noso Simmons, and we need Murray again. Fade out, then Reckless Youth, then we're done.
And let's talk about the other segment that was cut, the French ventriloquist dummy.
Oh, which I really liked, actually.
I was going to say I did not mind it at all either, and I kind of understand why it was cut because it is kind of a one-note joke, but it is still fun. I mean, I guess maybe my sense of humor is not what everybody else wants, and yours isn't either, so that's our fault.
Segment features a ventriloquist dummy operated by an American who the dummy is from France, and the ventriloquist dummy only speaks French, so it will only respond to him in French. So he has to get a translator puppet who speaks both French and English to translate the act. I don't know. That's ridiculously off the wall. But then the stinger, of course, is that, they cut to France where the French guy has the American puppet who's just like a goofball American, and they're You're judging him for not being French enough.
And it has the craziest voice. Its voice is, I'm glad that we don't hear it very much of that voice, because that voice is insane.
Do you know who did that voice? No, I don't know. I'm curious.
No, I didn't. I had no idea. I couldn't find the answer to that question. That dummy is horrifying.
Do you know who directed that segment?
That's Joe Dante.
Of course it's Joe Dante. It's Dick Miller, baby.
That's true.
Dante. That segment should have been in the movie. I'd prefer that segment over the Unknown Soldier sketch, actually.
In terms of it syncing up with the fact that it's a Joe Dante thing with Dick Miller, yeah, because Joe Dante, Dick Miller, peanut butter and jelly. And he's not in this other one.
Actually, you know what? I think they could have removed First Lady of the Evening, the romance novel parody.
Yeah, that's a blackout sketch.
And I also think they could have removed Silly Pate.
Also a blackout sketch, but it needs to be. And
then left in the Unknown Soldier and the ventriloquist dummy.
The Unknown Soldier is just, it's such a dark joke. And
it's just too long.
But there's nothing as dark in the movie as that joke, other than, I guess, Video Date.
Yeah, that's pretty bleak.
But the Unknown Soldier thing is beyond bleak. And like, again, like the implications and also the idea of like these three upper ups in the military essentially having a guy kill himself to be the Unknown Soldier is like, there's a lot of subtext there that we could get into if you want. But I mean, again, like, I don't know. There's a lot going on there to talk about. And I appreciate that. Kind of like Scot-Free, you know? It's kind of like Scot-Free in a lot of ways for me.
Yeah, in that it's challenging us in an official capacity.
Right.
But we haven't talked about, you mentioned it very briefly at the thing about how prescient it was, but the dating sequence with Rosanna Arquette and, speaking of After Hours, and Steve Guttenberg. Love that sequence.
Yeah, in terms of the most topical, I think it's the most topical because Steve Guttenberg is apparently the perfect nice guy in disguise.
Is that a thing?
Do what?
Is that a thing?
I mean, you're cutting in and out real bad.
Huh. I said, is that a thing? Like, is Steve Guttenberg a real creep in real life?
I don't know. I like the idea, like what was that movie, Single White Female, that came out a couple years ago that has Bo Burnham doing a very similar thing, but a lot more nefarious, where it's like a guy who is attempting and outwardly being like very feminist and kind of like, oh, you know, I love these things. I love Meryl Streep. And then it's like all the reality sinks in and he can't like confront it. Like, that's what it felt like. It felt oddly prescient in a way I was not expecting. And again, it works because it's Steve Guttenberg and he's a nice guy, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Like, the premise of the sketch is he's picking this girl up for their first date and he's spieling all of the things that girls want to hear, I guess. You know, oh, I love sushi. Oh, I love sushi. Oh, you know what? My VCR, I'm taping a Meryl Streep movie. I love Meryl Streep. Like, and then she asks for a credit card and an ID and gets a printout that includes his entire romantic and sexual history provided by everyone he's ever dated, including the fact that every line he's used on her, he has used previously, and like the number of times. So I don't know. I just thought that was deliriously funny.
It is.
Oh, I remember her. I think we dated a few times. You had sex with her on the second date. You never called her again. It says that?
Yeah, it's weird because again, like the dating apps and all those things have kind of gone, you know, that way. And people are more open and honest, and that's a good thing. But I like that this is like pushing for that in a way, like, and pushing for like, again, like, be careful because you never know. This guy might just be putting on airs. And yeah, like Steve Guttenberg is perfect stunt casting.
Yeah, he was really big at that moment. He had like 2 other movies come out the same year. So, and yeah, you're right. He's like the perpetual nice guy. Like, he's sweet and innocent. So of course he loves Meryl Streep.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, he seems like an America's Dad type, like Steve Guttenberg does.
Yeah, and I just loved the idea of creeps like that getting put on the run, because he immediately leaves her apartment and calls another girl who then asks that he bring an ID and a credit card as well. So it's like, yeah, that is something that should happen. There should be a network for women to protect them against dickheads like this.
Yeah, no, it's a fun sketch that, yeah, the payoff at the end is fantastic. You know, oh, I need you to bring, you know, these 2 things. Like, damn. Like, yeah, no, it's oddly prescient, and casting Steve Guttenberg just makes it that much funnier. And Roseanne Arquette has such a strange energy about her.
She's right.
Yeah.
Can't stop watching her.
She's so flighty.
Yeah.
That's the word I would use. She's just flighty. Like I don't know. Like she just hovers above the ground. It's just such. She has some interesting energy.
Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else about Amazon Women on the Moon, brother.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Your video keeps freezing intermittently, so like I can't tell when you're. It's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't fucking apologize. I was letting you know. That's why I was like, there have been some longer pauses on my end.
Yeah.
Well, if you've got nothing else, I've got nothing else. I think we've covered. I actually know. I will say one more thing about fan edit. To your point, there is a point behind fan edits, and fan edits for me should enhance what you've already seen in a substantive way. And I feel like reintroducing the things that we're missing could be construed as that. And I think 2/3 of it works. But yes, some of the things I feel like could have been taken out too.
Unfortunately,
it didn't have to be everything, all of it. You can take things out as well. That is also a fan edit. Fan editing is not just adding. It can also be taking out, retracting, removing.
Which he does none of that here. He just puts everything in. And believe me, I do not have a problem with a fan edit. I love seeing what a fan, their version of what that movie could look like. And if they have a bunch of other elements and they can recontextualize it and re-edit it to that, why not? That's great. I just think that it's not the best place to view something the first time.
Right.
Fan edits are for comparison.
Right. I agree with you.
So that's all. I think you should watch it. I think everyone should see all of this movie. But, you can see all the deleted scenes and everything on YouTube if you're looking for them. Just watch the movie as it is.
And I think, like the Spice Divers version of David Lynch's Dune is the one that I watch whenever I watch it, because that's a fan edit that takes the things that need to be there and adds it and takes out the things that don't and rotoscopes the eyes to be blue. It does the things that you would do to make the movie make more sense. Just adding everything in doesn't necessarily.
Right. And that's what happens here. But I agree with you. I've watched that version as well of Dune. It's pretty good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Father Malone, final thoughts on Amazon Women on the Moon?
Watch Amazon Women on the Moon. You are going to laugh. There is no doubt one of these segments is going to get you. And you can't say that about any other comedy you're going to watch. So see Amazon Women on the Moon. Watch sketch comedy. It's fantastic. Go see it in person. Never mind all of this cinematic bullshit. There are improv groups in every fucking city in America. Go support them. That's what I want to say about Amazon Women on the Moon. Also, like it bears repeating, or it needs repeating, I love Joe Dante and I love John Landis. I'm sorry to see you guys go.
Well, have either one of them made anything in a while either? Like
the last thing Landis did that I can remember was Burke and Hare with
Simon Pegg and Andy Serkis.
Simon Pegg and Andy Serkis, which I kind of liked actually. It was if you're into Landis's level of humor, then that was pretty good. Joe Dante, what was the last thing he did? Nightmare Cinema. I think he did a segment of Nightmare Cinema. It's a horror anthology years ago. So they're still working. I know Dante does a lot of television. I can't tell you what Landis has been up to of late. Doesn't matter. They don't need to prove anything to anybody.
Right, exactly. And, I agree. I think, I would advise watching everything this month, but definitely for me, I have enjoyed this the most of everything because I think it hits all of the right notes the right amount of times. So, look, Scott Free, I think, is the funniest thing I saw this month, but Amazon Women on the Moon really is just, there's a lot of fun to be had. And there's a lot of interesting things that John Landis and crew, Joe Dante, Carl Gottlieb, Robert K. Weiss, all of them do interesting things to justify doing the things that they've done. And everything works for the most part. Even the things that don't work still more or less work. Like even the things that don't work still work rather good, maybe not well, but good enough. So on that note, we'll take a break and we'll play a preview for the first Kulturecast of Horrortober.
Life was good to the Perrys of Pequot Landing. For 300 years they lived in this place. The generations were rich with love, and the most beloved of all were the twins, Niles and Holland. That that summer they shared a secret life. In the apple cellar. In the nursery. In the night.
Where is the baby? I'm getting scared, Holland. Something awful could happen. We can still play the game. She doesn't have to know. We could play it in secret. Ada knows everything. Look there, child. Think as I have taught you. Now. Imagine, Toshka, all your being. Nance, what is it?
For the fairies of New England, terrible things began to happen that summer.
Tell me, what is it like? Cold.
It was a summer of secrets. Secret treasures. Secret places.
Come on, little brother.
But the most frightening secret of all is yet to come.
Where is Ryder? Tori needs him.
I think I saw him down by the park.
Thomas Tryon, author of the best-selling novel, and Robert Mulligan, director of The Summer of 42, present a chilling new concept of terror and madness.
Oh, my God, my
George,
God.
what is it? George, what is it? What happened? George, what is it? What happened? Oh, my God.
There have been all the others. Now there is the other.
Where is the baby?
That's right. On the first Kulturecast of Horrortober, we're going to be talking about The Other, a TV horror movie that is a lot of fun. And if you've never heard of it, it's a pretty wild TV horror movie.
Wait, the 70s?
Yep.
Oh yes, yes, a good movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah, it's just if you've never heard of it, don't go looking it up, at least unless you're going to try and watch it. It's best left not knowing anything about it before you go and watch it. And I will be joined. Go ahead.
Search for the title only.
Yeah, exactly. And I will be joined by my good friend Adam Long of his own podcast now. He has his own podcast where you can listen to him talking to directors and people in the industry. So we'll be doing that to kick off Horrortober. Until then, Father Malone, where can people find you?
Find me at fathermalone.com for my individual cuckoo bullshit. And find me podcast-wise at weirdingwaymedia.com. Chris mentioned a whole bunch of them. Noise Junkies and Midnight Viewing, the Night Gallery podcast, and our Taxi podcast that I do with HP. That is Night Mr. Walters. You can find all that shit over there.
Same with me. weirdingwaymedia.com is where you can find all the things that I work on and a whole lot more. So yeah, weirdingwaymedia.com. As for this show, Kulturecast.com, patreon.com, 10, 20, and 50 are the levels that you can get in at if you're interested in supporting the show financially. But like, rate, and review the show wherever you get it, which is more than likely iTunes. Father Malone, thank you so much for joining me this month and programming the month and knocking it out of the park as always, my friend.
Well, it was entirely my pleasure. I really appreciated the opportunity to watch these movies again, guilt-free.
I like that, guilt-free. Perfect. And as always, we'll catch you on the next episode.